Now that you're practicing Kegels, now what, right? I mean, that is the real question and kind of the challenge that we have in the land of pelvic physical therapy for women is even, getting a woman to first practice them and understand what they are, and then to do them on a pretty consistent basis forever, that is a really big challenge. And so the one thing that I can provide here for you is a way to kind of assess where you are. And so there's kind of three levels I think about for this. The first level is pelvic connection. If you're not comfortable either looking at your pelvic floor and your vulva, if you're not comfortable putting a finger in your vagina, you need to start at the first level, and that is connecting with your pelvis and really doing some work on understanding that this is a part of your body and that you want to have it working as best as you can, just like any other part of your body. So if you're at that place, I really think about mirror work. I really think about connection. If you are at a place where you are, you're connecting with your pelvis and you don't want to put your finger in your vagina, then I would have the mirror, take it out, and do the Kegels, especially the contract, relax Kegel, and see if you can see the body parts move. You should be able to see the slight nod of the clitoris. You should see the anal wink, and you should see the perineum come up and in. The ultimate way to assess how well you're doing is to have a clean finger with some lube on it and probably your index finger, get into a comfortable position and use both the grading system and the next test that I'm going to show you. So if you have either your finger or you have a glove around your finger, you have some lube, you can put your finger in your vagina and you're going to do the contraction. And so here is the grading system for what we use to figure out how strong a contraction is. It goes from 0 to 5, and I'm just going to go over them. So if you have a grade 0, it's that you have no contraction. There's no movement or squeeze happening, even though your mind is saying that it is happening. Grade system number 1 is going to be a flicker. There's a trace movement or pulsating of the pelvic floor muscles under your finger. Grade 2 is increased tension around the pelvic floor, but there's no lift or squeeze. So remember, once you do that initial contraction, there's a lift that's supposed to happen after it. 3 is a squeeze of the finger with a slight lift. And it could be more due to the posterior wall than the anterior wall, which is a fair grade. And 4 is a squeeze, a compression of the posterior, but then also the anterior and the side walls are now also lifting up, which is strong. And then 5 is kind of everything coming together. The stronger squeeze and lift, a head direction, with a compression in both posterior, anterior, and side walls, and the whole finger feels like it's being compressed. So this is a way for you to kind of look at to see how strong your contraction is. The other piece of information that we can also look at when you are placing your finger in your vagina is how long you're able to contract and how long it takes you to relax. And so here you can see that the first number is going to be how long you can have that elevator kind of lifting up, and you count how many seconds, and then how long does it take you for that elevator to come back down, and that's your relaxation number. Most likely you're going to need more time to relax than you are to contract. But here again is just more information for you to be able to know how strong and how much contraction versus relaxation you have right now. So here's what I see usually with a strengthening Kegel program is that every woman is different and it's going to be your personal journey. I do think that knowing your numbers and being more connected with your pelvis helps with being able to, if you're going to do Kegels, helps to keep them as part of your self-care routine. And that's how I think they should be seen. I do think knowing the grade and the strength and how long it takes you to relax your pelvis can keep you more engaged. ultimately, it is this idea of that it takes time, that you're starting to build an awareness, and it's going to take time and understanding that it's a process. And ultimately, what we hope in pelvic floor physical therapy, at least, is that this first kind of intervention, non-invasive intervention, helps a woman have less symptoms if she's having symptoms. If they're not having symptoms, then it's just great to be aware and have this as part of your self-care routine. So if you're having issues with not being able to strengthen your pelvic floor, if you're not seeing strength increases, the next video will give you a couple of ideas of tools that you can use.